What if I told you that you've been playing Jae-Yong wrong this entire time? This video features the best tips and tricks to help you play the karaoke god Jae-Yong. Alright, so to start off this guy, let's go and talk about his main attack, work hard, play hard. In his work mode, Jae-Yong throws piercing speakers that deal very low damage and drops slipstreams that follow the attack's path. The slipstreams last for 2 seconds each and increases his and allies' movement speed. In his party mode, Jae-Yong throws piercing bottles that deal more damage and heal allies in their path. Both attacks can go through both allies and enemies. Now first, let's go over some tips for his work mode, which is where he throws his slipstream and can give you and your teammates a speed boost. This main attack is very fun to use because who doesn't want to move faster throughout the match? Every time you fire your main attack, you give yourself the opportunity to increase your movement speed and travel across the map quicker or help you dodge incoming projectiles. It could cause pressure onto the enemy team and force them to give up control of the map. Now a pro tip I do want to share with you guys is I recommend firing your attack where you want to be running towards next. This is a very helpful strategy, especially at the start of the match. You can shoot your slipstream wherever you want to go and just run along that path to take advantage of the speed boost. This can help you get to the objective quicker, get to mid quicker, or gain control of the map first by winning that first engagement. Now not only should you be using it onto yourself, but you should even be firing your main attacks onto your teammates. Now you can even use your slipstreams to support your teammates. Wherever they want to go, you can provide them with that speed boost as well and help them out. This can be useful especially when they need to escape a dangerous situation and are close to dying. You can never go wrong with increasing your movement speed inside of Brawl Stars. Next, let's go over his party mode where he throws a healing bottle that actually does more damage to the enemies. This main attack may not seem as fun as the slipstreams in work mode, but this main attack is what makes Jae-Yong a great support brawler. He can heal quite a bit per main attack in max level and keep his teammates alive to continue the aggression throughout the match. With his fast reload speed, Jae-Yong can quickly heal up his teammates in no time. Now I recommend kind of treating this main attack kind of like Poco's main attack. The reason I say this is because you want to be keeping an eye on your teammates and heal them up whenever they are low. The great thing is that your projectiles will pierce even when healing, which is similar to Poco when he's running to capo. So position yourself to heal multiple teammates if you can, because it would just make your healing more efficient. Now if you ever need to be playing more aggressive and dealing more damage, I recommend just staying in the party mode. What's interesting is that Jae-Yong deals more damage when he is in his party mode compared to his work mode. It's kind of ironic since you would think that a brawler in work mode would deal more damage, especially when it's not the healing attack. Anyways, when you need to play more aggro and carry your team, just stay in the party mode and take advantage of that increased damage. Now let's go over some tips you can use for either main attack, but the first one I do want to share is that you want to try and pierce through multiple enemies if you can. I touched on this topic a little bit earlier, but this is extremely important when playing any brawler that can pierce through multiple targets. It will give you more value per main attack and improve your ammo efficiency. Whether you're in party mode or work mode, you want to be trying to hit multiple brawlers, friendly or hostile, no matter what. Now another tip I do want to share is that you don't have to be really saving your ammo because Jae-Yong does have a pretty fast reload speed. Now with Jae-Yong's 1.45 fast reload speed, he can be extremely toxic to deal with. He can just constantly heal up his teammates or speed them up, which can be annoying to deal with when playing against a good Jae-Yong. But when you are playing as Jae-Yong, take advantage of that stat to frustrate the enemy team. Now Jae-Yong is unique because he can switch between modes for his main attack and his super, so it's important that you are keeping track of which mode you are currently in. It can be hard to keep track of what mode you're in, especially when you're first learning how to play Jae-Yong. Thankfully, it will get easier as you get more comfortable and look at the little symbol above Jae-Yong. It's important to know what mode you're in because that dictates what your main attacks will do and what your next super will be. Now since Jae-Yong is a support brawler, prioritize supporting your teammates above all. An amateur mistake I always see is that people play not only Jae-Yong like a damage dealer, but any support brawler like a damage dealer. Your job as a support brawler is to support your teammates. Whether the situation calls for a speed boost or an instant heal, you need to prioritize that first and foremost, especially with a brawler like Jae-Yong. But okay, that's gonna be it for Jae-Yong's main attacks. Let's go and talk about his supers, mix it up. Jae-Yong switches between his work and party modes, which changes his main attacks. When switching into his work mode, he creates a radius area effect around him that increases the movement speed of his and teammates inside the area of effect by 30% for 3 seconds. When switching into his party mode, he instantly heals him and all allies. Now first, let's go over Jae-Yong's work mode super, which is kinda like Max's super. Special comps such as Jae-Yong Double Tank are prime examples of where you need to try your best to cycle your supers and support your teammates. It's also better to super when your team has ammo and health, as it's way harder to get value when you're all low and have no ammo. Now eventually as you get better when playing Jae-Yong, you'll understand situations where it's better to kind of just use your super onto yourself. If you notice that there's an opportunity that you can capitalize on to try and put your team in a position to win the game, you need to just make that split-second decision to just go for it before that window closes. Or there could be times where you are low on health and need an escape. This is when you can use your super to hopefully make a getaway, but I still recommend getting as much value as possible with every super and using it onto your teammates if you can. Now right as you use your super onto your teammates and you get that speed boost, I kinda just recommend running around all over the place and wasting the enemy team's ammo. If you can waste the enemy's ammo, then you use the remaining speed boost to rush down the enemy. That'll cause immense pressure onto the enemy team. This is a very effective strategy, especially when playing in control-oriented game modes and you are struggling to regain control of the map. Next, let's go over some tips for Jae-Yong's party mode, which is kinda like a max super but it heals. This super is great and what makes Jae-Yong a solid healer. It may not be as much as Poco's super, but it does get the job done by giving your teammates at least 1500 more health at max level. It can come in clutch when they're about to die and need to escape a tight spot, but also it's just very satisfying to use. Now kinda like what I said before, like don't be afraid about using your super onto yourself when you need to survive. Sometimes you're gonna get some interesting randoms inside of Brawl Stars, right? So don't be ashamed to just use your super onto yourself when you gotta take matters into your own hands and carry your team. Especially when you're about to die and nobody is near you, just use your super. If you the viewer are out there watching and is that interesting random, use your super onto your teammates, you're not that guy. Now a tip I do want to share, no matter which super you're going to use with Jae-Yong, is try and use your super onto multiple teammates. This kind of goes back to the tip I gave earlier in the video about getting the most amount of value with your attacks. However, this is in regards to his super, because you might as well try and heal or speed up as many of your teammates as you can. You can heal more efficiently, speed up more efficiently, and allow your teammates to play with more confidence knowing that you got their back. But okay, that's going to be for Jae-Yong's super. Let's go and talk about his gadgets now, but the first one I want to talk about is Weekend Warrior. When activated, Jae-Yong instantly damages every target in a large radius, changing his main attack into spoons while increasing the damage for 5 seconds, but it won't drop speed boosting slipstreams or heal allies. Now this gadget is great when you're playing against very aggro brawlers like tanks and assassins. Since you can instantly deal 2300 damage at max level to anybody within that large radius, it can help you take out a huge chunk of the enemy's health so you have a better shot at taking them down. Of course, getting that damage increase is going to come in clutch to bursting down whoever is trying to get you down first. Now I also recommend using this gadget whenever you get a carry and just deal damage onto multiple targets. Something I kinda had a brain fart about when I first started learning how to play Jae-Yong was I only wanted to use this gadget when I wanted to deal that 2300 damage to the enemies. So I recommend even using this gadget when you need that damage increase to take on a heavier fight to carry your team to victory. Now before activating your gadget, I recommend having a full bar of ammo if possible. Since your gadget only lasts for 5 seconds, it wouldn't make a lot of sense if you activate your gadget with no ammo and end up wasting your gadget firing maybe only a couple shots. Instead, save your ammo and then activate your gadget so you can use those 5 seconds as efficiently as possible. Now another reason why I personally love using this gadget is because it strengthens a lot of the weaknesses that a lot of support brawlers have inside of Brawl Stars. A common trend with a lot of support brawlers in Brawl Stars is that they struggle dealing high burst damage at close ranges or dealing a lot of damage in general. Of course, it's common because they are support brawlers, but some people don't get that. With this gadget, it allows Jae-Yong to stand his ground a bit more and provides him with more hybrid capabilities. But okay, that's gonna be it for his first gadget. Let's go and talk about his second gadget, Time for a Slow Song. When activated, Jae-Yong instantly slows every target in a large radius and changes his attack to piercing speakers that deal very low damage and drops trails of paperwork that follows the attack's path. The paperwork only lasts for 5 seconds each and slows the enemies down. Now kinda like with the first gadget, this gadget is going to be great with dealing with aggro brawlers like tanks and assassins. Even though this gadget won't deal 2300 damage instantly to your target, you can slow down whoever is within that large radius. It may be harder to burst down your target since you won't have the increase in damage, but slowing down the enemy's movement speed is definitely the second best thing that could happen in those kind of situations. Now another great thing about this gadget is you're going to give you and your teammates time to take down the target at close ranges. Being able to slow down the enemies will put them at a huge disadvantage because even if they take you down, hopefully your teammates can swoop in and finish the kill. The enemy won't be able to escape in time, and they'll be screwed no matter which gadget Jae-Yong is using. Now another great way of using this gadget is slowing down the enemies with your main attacks at a farther range. Now with this gadget, you can slow down whoever you hit with your attacks, and that can be useful to prevent enemies from escaping you and your teammates' attack ranges. It'll give you time to catch up, get them down, and regain control of the map or do whatever you need to do to win the match. Now I'm gonna be straight with you guys, with Jae-Yong you can't go wrong with either gadget. Honestly, both of these gadgets are pretty solid and they both serve different purposes of course, but are great within those specific situations. Depending on your playstyle should dictate which gadget you should buy and use because they are both pretty damn good. But okay, that's gonna be for Jae-Yong's gadgets. Let's go and talk about his star powers, but the first thing I want to talk about is extra high note. This star power increases the attack projectile's damage by 20% if the projectile hits more targets. Now I personally love using this star power on control oriented game modes. The reason I say this is because you are more likely to catch the enemies grouping up together on control oriented game modes like gem grab and hot zone. He can attack the enemies that are bunched up together and take advantage of the star power to do more damage, which is great. Now kind of like what I talked about earlier, but you want to reposition yourself so you can hit multiple targets at the same time. With this star power, it is more important than ever before to try and hit multiple targets with the same main attack. Of course it's important in general, but when you are using a star power that only works when you hit multiple targets, with the same main attack, yeah, the importance is going to be severely emphasized. So move around and position yourself to hit multiple targets whenever possible. Now I'm not going to lie, this star power is going to be pretty tricky to get a lot of value out of, especially when you're playing against higher skilled players. Typically, higher skilled players understand the importance of not grouping up together and understanding lanes in mid. This star power isn't as valuable when playing against smarter players because they don't want to give you that extra value per main attack, so they will purposely stay in their own lane or within mid if they are the mid brawler. But okay, that's gonna be it for Jae-Yong's first star power. Let's go to talk about his second star power, the crowd goes mild. With this star power, Jae-Yong's movement speed is increased by 10% for every nearby ally. This speed boost stacks with more allies aside of the radius and stacks with other speed boosts such as Max's super. Now this star power is definitely going to be the preferred star power most of the time, especially if you can stick to multiple teammates throughout the match. If you're playing a more passive Jae-Yong and are really focusing on keeping your teammates alive, you will probably be staying somewhat near your teammates most of the time than not. So if you like playing support brawlers this way, I would definitely recommend running this star power most of the time. Now I know to a lot of you guys that additional 10% speed boost may not seem that great, but it truly can make a big difference. As it discussed earlier, any sort of speed boost can be extremely clutch but also really fun. Especially since the star power can stack with the slipstreams and super, it will allow Jae-Yong to move like an absolute speed demon. If you love to play aggressively and end up spending most of your matches needing to carry your team, this is definitely the star power for you. Now actually I just thought about this, it's not scripted at all, but Jae-Yong is going to be incredibly disgusting in 5v5 game modes. Think about it, Jae-Yong being able to increase his movement speed by 10% for every ally within his radius is nasty work for 5v5. Of course you aren't going to be near all of your teammates throughout the match, but it just allows for more opportunities to increase your movement speed with more teammates on the field. And of course support brawlers are really good inside of 5v5, so Jae-Yong is going to be very disgusting in this game mode as well. Now the recommended build I suggest you guys use with Jae-Yong is using the time for a slow song gadget, the crowd goes mild star power. The first gear I'm going to recommend is going to be the damage gear. He doesn't really deal a lot of damage as a support brawler, so he can definitely benefit with dealing more damage or even healing more. And then finally I do recommend using the gadget cooldown gear. Like I said earlier, both gadgets are very strong, so no matter which one you want to use, you want to be getting those gadgets back even faster. Well anyway guys, if you guys enjoyed that video, I highly recommend you guys go check out this video right here.